we have a friend here today. But yes, I'm wearing the same clothes as I am in my last video. That's because I literally just finished editing and uploading it, so now I want to start this video. So, hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and here's another video. I am super excited to be reading this book in this video. If you can't tell by the title, this week we are reading Belladonna. Why reading this book, you say? Well, one, look, it is absolutely stunning. It is exquisite with little birds and the vines and all that kind of stuff. But what intrigued me to read this book is that not a lot of people have read this book. And I want to do a reading vlog. It's a big book compared to like the standard size, but it has, let me just check the epilogue. Okay, the epilogue. So we have 394 pages, and the epilogue adds about 9 pages, 10 pages. So it ends up being a 403 page book. But yeah, I got this at QBD Books because we love Australians. But yeah, I'm gonna start this book tonight. It is currently 5:54 on a Sunday night. I work. Okay, YouTube is not my job. I hope for it to be my job one day. Absolutely am looking forward to being able to do this for a living. But I work, so come with me for this week while I read Belladonna. It is the next day. It is Monday the 17th of April at 9:15. I am at chapter 5 so far. I didn't read much last night, but it is crazy off the get-go. I was having a look at, my mum's sweeping, at Goodreads, and it has an average of 4.13 stars, which is pretty good. This is what it looks like. Focuses. Yeah. So yeah. So far the writing is very lyrical, as I said, but it is very much world building at this point, but it's good world building. But yeah, like so far we have death and we have a girl named Signa, and so far it's their story, I am guessing. So yeah, I'll keep you up. It's Tuesday, it's the next day. I'm gonna give you a little update on belladonna. So chapter 8 through 9 are super crazy. Crazy as in like it's anticipation, it's very descriptive. The one thing that I can't get over is that Signa, the main female character, she has moved to her auntie's place, which is called Thorngrove, I believe so. And she's dead. She's died of a disease, and it looks like that her daughter Blythe has that disease, but we don't know how they're getting this disease. And so that's where I'm at right now. It's got super creepy, eerie vibes. I can see why people are like, this is gothic vibes, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it right now. And yeah, I'm gonna go to work and I'll give you an update when I finish. Is the next day, it's Tuesday, I'm in my work uniform, and update time. We also got a little friend. This is Monty. He's just doing his own thing. I wrote down some notes. I'm on chapter 10, but chapter 8 and 9, it was super crazy, and it's Wednesday and I have not read another page yesterday. I got to chapter 10. I was really tired yesterday, so hopefully we read more today. I have just noticed that if you don't know anything about this book, basically what I'm guessing is that she falls in love with death. It's a bit of a haunted house situation, and I'm guessing this is a theory, is that she tries to contact death by eating belladonna berries. Those are belladonna berries. Did I know that going into this book? No. So I'm gonna keep you updated. I will read more today. I promise. Hello. It is Saturday, the 22nd of April, and it's 4 o'clock, and I'm going to give you an update. I'm up to chapter 24 of Belladonna, and I have a few things to say. So one thing that I want to say is that it's still very, very lyrical. It doesn't really stop getting lyrical, and it's still in third person, no point of views, as I've said. We are 200 pages in. Chapter 24 is 211 pages, but we're 200 pages in, and I feel like that it's still very much world building, and I find it kind of boring. And from that, I find that some parts are not necessary to be as lyrical as they are, and some parts are I just find are straight out boring. Like, there's no angst. Like, if you don't know what Belladonna is, it's basically, as I've said, it's a romance novel apparently, and it's about a girl named Signa, and she basically has the powers to go through living, time, and death, and she's very good friends with death, and basically all of her life she has had like an auntie and uncle that has passed away, And so now she has fallen into the Thorngrove mansion, which is her auntie Lillian. And basically Lillian is dead and Signa can see her spirit, and we don't know how Lillian died. And basically what we are finding out in this book is how Lillian died. Right, so we are literally like halfway through this book and we have one suspect. One like lead. And it's just, I'm getting lost, but I'm going to stick to it and I'm going to come back and I'm going to keep you updated. Hi, I am back. So, I just wanted to show you and give like a little update about this book. I just wanted to show you how lyrical her writing is. So, this is on page 215. I haven't gotten far, but so basically it goes from this quote: they're in a library trying to find an antidote for one of the characters in the book. So it goes, the room was lit by windows that bathed the room in pale starlight, bright enough to see shapes and vastness of the library, but too dark to read the titles of the book. Signa breathed in the musky scent of an old parchment and ink. We will need to find a light. No sooner were the words out of her mouth before a candle upon one of the desks lit itself. It's very like third person-y. But I also wanted to say that there is romance in this book. Signa, who is the main female character, who, as I've said, goes between the living and the dead. So she's our main character, and there's kind of like a love triangle. You have Stylus, who is a stable boy at Thorngrove, and then you have Death. Death is the person that she's always known, always been around, so it's kind of like childhood friends to lovers in that sense. There's a triangle, love triangle, you know, like those are like the kind of tropes that I'm noticing in this book. But yeah, I'm gonna keep reading. Hello! We got a little friend here, so if you hear him snoring in the back, just ignore that. But basically, here are my final thoughts on Belladonna. Well, this book was enjoyable. It was really enjoyable. From cover to cover, it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I have some notes here on my little, why did I do that? On my notes on my phone. So I have that I finished the book and my overall thoughts is that I enjoyed it. My rating for this is a 3.5 stars. This book, floppiness, excellent. Everything about this book was in itself nothing that I have read before. Okay? And yeah. So there are the plot twists in this book because it's a gothic romance with like some thriller in there, like there's a murder mystery in there, and you're trying to figure it out with the main character Signa, who is poisoning the Hawthorne family. Alright, so in the Hawthorne family we have Elijah, Lillian, Blythe and Percy. Lillian died from belladonna. She died from these berries and she was getting poisoned over time, and basically the whole spiel is that Signa can see spirits and Lillian was trying to get Signa to come to her grave because her grave is a garden in the woods, and basically the whole situation is Signa trying to figure out who killed Lillian. We find that out, okay? There is a sequel, but we do find that out in this book. And I loved it. I just hated the fact that we took 200 pages in to actually see the story move along. The story was moving, but it was moving so slow for 200 pages. Felt like there was no story going anywhere. So as I've said, there is a love triangle. Okay, you will figure this out if you read this book. I was so surprised that I literally started crying because I was like, oh my god. And so I am team death. Team death all the way. Stylist, team death. The plot twists were phenomenal and had me sitting on the edge when I was reading them. The romance between Death and Signa, like I felt that, and it was so nice to be able to feel that in the way that it was portrayed, because you never think about, oh, I'm gonna fall in love with Death, but it felt so real in her writing. I cannot wait for the sequel, which I believe it is Boxglove. Don't quote me on that, but there is a sequel coming out. Just the whole story in general was brilliant from start to finish. It was brilliant, it was nicely paced and all that kind of stuff. The only thing that I would say is that in some cases there were a bit too much detail for what was going on. People who love detail and love everything about it will love this book. If you are a type of person that struggles with world building, struggles with the words and how descriptive they are, I feel like you won't like this book. But in saying that, if you want to read this book and you find it hard to deal with those kinds of things, I would be able to push past it because this is such a brilliant book to read. Some parts of the book I loved, and the detail of the afterlife and the gardens that were in there and the big Thorngrove house, I loved. I loved being able to picture that clear in my mind. And yeah, in some cases I did find that there was too many details in some situations, and that led me to get bored, but I had to push past it because I was enjoying the story overall. Like an example of that is like some situations that Signa got in could have been like cut short. I didn't really need to be like, the situations that she got in were action packed and I didn't need to get all the details about all the situations that were going on. I just wanted to know what Signa was doing in that situation, and I didn't need all these like fluffy duffy lyrical descriptive words. I just wanted to know what was going on. But I enjoyed the book. Yes, those are my notes. So I overall enjoyed the book. The first half of the book is world building, getting to know Signa, getting to know Death, getting to know the whole situation between Signa and her life. And then in the second half of the book was plot, characters and all that kind of stuff that was in this book. And yeah, overall this book, I do definitely think that it is worth reading. It is nice, and overall it was an enjoyable read. Count how many times I've said enjoy or enjoyable. But yeah, like, this whole story revolves around belladonna. That is why it is called belladonna. And yeah, you don't really get a lot of romance in this book. Some people will say different, some people will agree with me. It is not your typical romance novel, obviously, because it is a fantasy gothic romance, but this book did revolve around her finding out who was poisoning people, why Lillian was dead and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, 3.75 stars for this book. And yeah, if you want to pick this up, go ahead. If you don't, that is perfectly fine. But there is a sequel coming out for this book, so if you want to get your hands on it, I do recommend it. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching. This whole video will probably be chaotic with me editing and looking back at it. But yeah, thank you for sticking around, and I hope that you have a beautiful, fabulous, wonderful week or day ahead of you. And yeah, bye guys.